First place I remember living was near the town of Staten, Oregon. That is about 26 miles kind of southeast of Salem, at a place called Sile, Oregon, which is about 20 miles east of Albany.
Okay.
We lived there for 3 or 4 years. And then we moved up to a place called Mill City, Oregon. It's a sawmill town.
Okay.
Right along a river runs through there. It had the engine and the steam, but I tell you, it stood up about, it was about, the body of it was about 8 foot through.
Oh my gosh.
And it went up about, nearly 20 feet.
And it was
and
called...
it had a smokestack on the top.
And it was called a steam donkey.
Steam donkey. You burned wood in it.
Yeah.
Had to feed it wood, and it heated the steam that run the rotor that hauled the logs in.
And what were the big logs that it sat on? Was that like a big sled, or?
Yeah, they were the full depth log. The log was about I'll say 5 foot through.
You had a big birthday.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, on the 13th. Yeah.
And 100 and.
Yeah, I had my niece and her husband and their daughter was here. Of course, Greg was here. My son got the dinners.
Okay.
I was stationed. Towards from Roseburg, this road goes to the coast. And, we were about halfway to the coast before our camp was. It was a nice place to be. Not so handy if you wanted to go home. I didn't. I couldn't. I did get home for about 3 months, I think it was.
So you, with the Triple C, you were kind of isolated.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of boys were from Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, all they had to do was take the bus into Roseburg and get on the train.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't that handy for me to go south.
Got it.
I think it was about September, 1st September, we had 4 or 5 days off, and there was a fellow in camp. He had a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And he took I think there's 3 or 4 of us. He took us down where we lived and brought us back.
Oh, that's great.
We had to pay him, of course. I think it cost us $5 a piece.
Golly.
$5 was a big lot of money in those days.
And when you were working with the Triple C, CCC, did you live in a barracks or a tent, or?
We had a barracks. I started with the barracks. It was a big one, held 200. But there was about 200 of us of those boys.
Yeah.
That stayed in there.
Okay.
They helped. They had different. Most of them had different places to stay in, cooks and whatnot,
Okay.
But us regular workers, we had. Yeah, I think there was at least about 200 of us here. But, it was a big log building, what it was. We were in the upper deck of it.
Gosh.
And the office for the officers was in the same building.
So,
part of it, yeah.
So it was military, like you reported to officers?
We were in camp. We were under military.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Out in the woods, we were under the Forest Service. 1st of February that year, they condemned the old barracks.
No kidding.
Unsafe to live in.
Oh my gosh.
So we moved into tents, 5 men to a tent. No, not. Let me see. Well, I don't know. the example, the edge of that, where that table is there,
Yeah.
across here, and this way, and this way, and this way, except it's more round circle.
Oh my gosh, that's a big
There
tent.
was room for four cots. Two cots on one side, two on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
Stove in the middle. And you had to make a base for it to set because it didn't have a bottom in it. So we made a platform, put sand in there, and set it on top of the sand because the simply stove was no bottom in the stove. It
Okay.
set up sand. You built your fire right inside there. Well, they had a regular cooked, and our boys, some of our boys, were chosen as waiters. You know, when you come in, they
Okay.
picked them out for waiters.
Yeah.
We got into timber falling too. After it was out of the three C's, we were another friend of mine. We spent about a week falling timber, but it didn't work out too well. We weren't making much money on it, so we went back. We had back those they had a well. During the summer, Forest Service, they hired people. There was about six. I don't know how many there was in our camp, but they had at that time there was a lot of white pine over in eastern Oregon, and there was a disease. I can't make the name of it now. It had a life cycle of 7 years,
Yeah.
and they claimed that during 7 years it lived in the forest in low bushes and higher bushes,
Yeah.
and it would go from there into the pines and kill the pine trees.
Oh my.
So we were out digging up those, and throw them out where the sun maybe hit them, they'd dry up and die out. I think I spent 2 summers doing that.
Well, clearing out.
It'd be about, well, it was in our camp, there was about 25 people, I think it was.
Okay.
We didn't have a real guards camp. But they would go out, they had what they call checkers. They would go out with their instruments, and, like they were laying, like they were, what do you call it? Checking land, you know.
Uh-huh.
They would get establish a place where you could start. You had 3 people together,
Uh-huh.
and one in the middle, and on each side about 33 feet. They would have a string on, long string, and they'd walk along and tuck that string on the bushes as they went. So if anybody else come along, they know that area had been worked.
Okay.
So
Kind of like a survey crew.
yeah, that's about like what it was. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. They what they call the checkers went through and laid out the land where it was going to be done. Put stakes in. Surveyors, you know.
Uh-huh.
And we'd start from them and work 33 feet wide we'd be. One man here, one man in the middle.
Wow.
And you'd work that way, and then you'd turn around and come back along that string you'd set, make another. I come back home then. Well, I went, let's see, what did I do? Well, in the fall I went over and picked potatoes in Klamath Falls, down the Tule Lake area.
Wow.
Did that for about, let's see, three different times, I guess. That would happen back about the end of, for a couple of 3 weeks, about the end of, it started about the end of September
Okay.
and continued for a couple of weeks and you go over there and camp out and pick potatoes. Let's see, in the wintertime, I worked on what's called WPA, Works Progress Administration.
Works.
You dug ditches and cleaned drain ditches and whatnot during that time, or worked on the roads too. We did, one winter worked on one road, yeah. A county road was working on, yeah.
Okay.
What we did, I guess most of what we did, we went along and I'll never forget one. They sent us out to one place, about 16 miles beyond the county, and the city of Grants Pass went southeast of there, and got out on the road. The day we got there, county come along, picked up all the tools and moved them. So for 30 days, all we could do along and pick up a few rocks here and throw them all the way.
They took your tools.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We didn't have no tools to work with.
Holy cow.
And I got the job of reporting how many loads of gravel trucks came in and whatnot.
Golly.
that was really a well, kind of when you want to go to work, you like to work. You don't just like to stand around, pick up a rock here and there and throw it.
Right.
But nothing else we can do for the
Gosh.
time being. Pipes might be for water. They were in the nacelle.
Okay.
So most of them were for fuel or oil.
Okay.
That would go through this. That'd come in from the other parts of the wing into the nacelle, and then attached to the engine, would mount on the front of it.
Wow.
And let's see. Oh, I got my 30-year watch. It was. And that would be in. Well, let's see. When was this from? Oh, 41. In the 70s.
70s, you got.
That's when Boeing almost closed the doors.
Oh, I remember that. There was a
The Depression. Yeah.
Right, and there was that big.
It was the. He was a. What do you call him? He was a manager. That gave us there was about 4 or 5 of us got our 30-year pins, our watches. And he says that, yes, during that time, Boeing just about closed the doors. He says when a company they can't make a payroll, they close the doors and close up. Yeah. We come that close to closing down.
So you remember when Boeing was struggling? You know, now we just take it for granted, but you remember the lean years.
Oh, I do. I remember.
Wow.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Okay.
She was working on a different shift, and and I was working day shift, and they transferred her to day shift.
Okay.
And she was putting in next to the engine nacelles on the wing. There was scoops that went in there to direct the air into air coolers to cool the oil there. And that was just right outside the nacelle where she was working. And I come out one day for lunch and no rest period. She says, "You got something to open this pop bottle with?"
And that was it.
Yep. And that's how we met. 445. Then we went back again to, I think in 46. Went back. They started picking up and building planes again.
Okay.
I was able to get that. We had some military planes to finish up over at Renton, and that's how I got back on there.
Okay.
And so in February of that year, 41, 42, I think it was.
Okay.
That's when we got married.
And we're sitting in the house that you built soon after that, right?
Pardon?
We're sitting in the house that you built soon after that.
Oh, no, I didn't do any house building.
Uh-huh.
No. They were built, they were down in Chelsea Park.
Oh, okay.
The houses were built during the war.
Okay. For the
And,
workers.
After the war, there was one fellow that had a house. He was moved to another. He was going to build himself a house a little farther out,
Okay.
and he had his up for sale. So we bought him out there
Okay.
and lived there, I think, 6 years until they started building these houses in here,
In Burien here.
and we got this house here.
And was Burien a city then?
No.
Uh-uh.
No,
Okay.
it was just a little country town, actually.
Okay.
It wasn't incorporated at that time.
Okay. Just a suburb of Seattle.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's right.
And you found this property here
Yeah.
and decided to build a house.
They were building this 8th Avenue
Uh-huh.
down there to about 4 blocks down and across that way and this way.
Uh-huh.
So this square in here is where they started building houses.
Gosh.
And the wife was, somehow she got over this way somewhere and saw what was happening. So we made a bargain to trade our house in and have this one built here.
Okay. So you've been in this house, what, almost 70 years then?
Yeah, right.
Holy cow. That's kind of unusual. People move around these days, and you've been in this home
A lot
for
of people do. Well,
Yeah.
there was people moving around,
Yeah.
and the wife, she got the idea, said, we ought to move too. Other people are moving.
Yeah?
I didn't agree with it.
You
But
wanted
we
to
looked
stay
around, but we stayed here, and the good thing we did. But
Yeah.
this was a good level lot,
Yeah.
and that's what you want when you don't want to. As my dad said, I'll never live in a ravine or on a side hill,
Oh, funny.
and I've kept that adage too. I think in 1944,
Uh-huh.
there was from the oh, now I forgot the name of the church.
Oh, was it a Lutheran church around here?
Lutheran.
Was
yeah.
it? Okay.
It was Lutheran. He was Lutheran, and they was canvassing the area to see how many people lived here, if it was feasible to build a church down here.
And were you Lutheran at the time?
Yeah, no, I was living down in Chelsea Park at the time,
Oh, okay.
1944.
Okay.
And I remember him doing that. And as a result, they built Glendale. I remember the minister saying at one time that there was a lot of Swedes, Norwegians,
Uh-huh.
and he was, I think he was descended from Norwegian, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
And those people wanted church. They were church people.
Right.
And Swedes and Norwegians were.
Okay.
And there was a lot of them, and that's practically what built what was the most of the people then that belonged to that church, joined the church, were from them. And there was others like me that weren't Norwegian, but were Scotch Irish or something else,
Yeah.
or German. Actually, I'm of German descent.
Okay.
And a long time back. Yeah. He did in, what was that, 60? Oh, 65. I think in November 65 we joined it.
Okay.
Yeah, our children, one was 2 years old, the other was about a year and a half old or something like that, I think
My
it was.
gosh. Your two boys.
2 boys, yes.
Golly.
Yeah. And after we joined it, we went to the old church,
Mm-hmm.
which is still there.
Okay.
And after about a year later, then they built the gymnasium
Uh-huh.
and the new church. As the nucleus of the early church of Swedes and Norwegians
Mm-hmm.
had kind of depleted
Over the years,
over
really?
the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe moved away or
Uh-huh.
something. I don't know. And so the new people were not of the religion,
Uh-huh.
but they come to church here. But now they're having a time with the church because the nucleus of people, church people, is far different than it was at that time.
You've seen a lot of changes. I bet.
We are all mixed up, all different types of people living in this area now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think we got out of there about 9:30, and we headed home. It was pretty quiet, except after you cross the bridge, you come through a flat area before you come up the hills. Then that flat area, there was a big sign they always had it all across. Oh, it was about, must have been about 8 feet by 17 feet.
A big billboard.
They let it,
Yeah.
they let it hang right across the street.
Yeah.
One end had broken loose,
Oh my.
and it was swinging back and forth.
Gosh.
So when they went this way, we went through. Missed it.
Golly.
And it didn't hit so hard in this area as it did in other areas.
I had family down in Longview,
Oh,
and for some reason they got hit. I remember my dad took Kodachrome pictures of the main avenue in Longview, Washington, and it was lined with these huge oak trees, and all the oak trees had fallen over, and it had pulled up the street
Yeah.
and the sidewalks. It looked like the end of the world. Yeah.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Well, that started way down south.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know in California, I think.
Okay.
But my relatives live in Grants Pass, Oregon,
Okay.
which is, well, going south, you go through Eugene and Cottage Grove,
Mm-hmm.
about 300 miles south of Portland,
Okay.
where they live. And it came through there first
Wow.
and come right on up the coast.
When the Seattle Center was built for the World's Fair, when they put up the Space Needle, and you probably remember when Smith Tower was the biggest
Oh,
building in Seattle.
Big attraction, yeah.
Gosh.
And, well, people thought at first, it'd be built and then tore down afterwards.
Yeah.
But it wasn't tore down. It's still there.
It's a beautiful building.
Yes. When I came here in 41, there was no, I don't remember. Oh, the Smith Tower was the highest building.
Yeah. Yeah.
The little, where it's kind of dwarfed down there now, though.
I remember growing up and, with J.P. Patches and Stan Borison and all that.
Oh, yeah, I remember Stan Borison. Oh, yes. And, let's see. We used to have one that whether he was Norwegian or not,
Uh-huh.
but he was to talk that way.
Yeah.
Let's see, I was trying to think something about him. Oh, yes, yeah, he come on, he says, oh, yes, at Christmas time, I hug and kiss my mother-in-law. Rest of the year, we don't even speak. I got a instruction book, and I started to learn to play chords on it. And I used to play chords. Play with. There was another friend of mine in the community. Old time fiddler we called him those days.
Yeah.
He played that, and we played for a dance or two there.
Wow.
There's that place called Hugo.
Yeah.
Tending to tune it up, and I haven't got it done yet.
But it's a 5-string, huh?
Five string, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's called a thumb string. Yeah, you pick it to kind of. Yeah, sure, out of tune. I bought this from a neighbor I knew.
Yeah.
I think $3.50. I think.
Oh my
for
gosh.
it. That was back in about 1931.
Okay.
Let's see. No, 30. Let's say 1933.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know just how old it is. Because my cousin had it first. He bought it from down at Grants Pass music store. So I don't know how old it is.
Gosh.
It's pretty well made. Of course, I made that brace to put in there
Uh-huh.
to hold it. It's just a second head I've had in it.
Okay.
It
Has such a distinct sound to it.
yeah, it doesn't sound quite like it used to. But the
So you-
first one had a good head. They made it out. Used to make it out of calf skin.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of your plays, play. I never played much melody on it.
Uh-huh.
Most of the chords playing
Okay.
was somebody like what we call an old time fiddler.
Okay.
Or we had it when I was in the Three Cs. I had it there. We had a violinist there, and we had two guys that each had a guitar, and I had my banjo.
Oh, wow.
Every Monday night we would have what we call a sing along,
Uh-huh.
and we had a lady that played the piano too.
Gosh.
So we played music and sang.
Do you remember some of those tunes?
Well, so long ago I was working. I had the sheet music of all of them
Yeah.
back in.
How fun.
Well, I'll tell you, little ditty my dad used to sing.
Okay.
I had a banjo and made of wood, and all the strings were twined. And the only tune that I could play was "Wish That Gal Was Mine."
Embrace your different. Look and feel your go is home to 24-hour fun and daily specials that will have you coming back again and again. Fridays are red hot at Muckleshoot Bingo.
I brought Bernard over here because he's smart. I can't imagine he went along with this. No. The chief of these will be in touch with him.
Well, we had a young deer, female deer, that stayed around the camp.
Oh, okay.
And the guys that feed her tobacco, she liked tobacco. She'd he'd give them a cigarette once in a while. They would eat it right. She would eat it right down.
Oh my gosh, she would eat cigarettes.
I don't know why she liked it, but she did.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
But that's about the only. Let's see. That's about the only animals I saw. Much surprising enough. There's even fighting fire in the summertime. I can't remember seeing any clothes. I guess when the fire started, they'd move away
Yeah.
as fast as they could.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to go to safety.
Right.
Wow.
Because they didn't. The animals don't like fire.
Yeah. And with the Triple C, it was firefighting, and what else did you do?
We built roads, mountain roads.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes. Yeah, they were, as they said, they were for the Forest Service. They were a godsend to the Forest Service.
Okay.
Because the Forest Service didn't. Well, a few of them they didn't have time to build roads and make trails and all that. So the Three Seas did. They built roads. They made trails through the mountains where they need them.
Did you have any like big graders or anything like that, or bulldozers?
Oh yeah, we had bulldozers. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yes, to build roads with. Yes.
Wow.
'Cause we were about in. I was first went to main camp, and then went to a spike camp about 18 miles off the main road where it was, and we spent the whole summer there working on roads. We'd do a lot of sloping the banks, you know. After a bulldozer goes through, there's a bank there. It's all rough, you know.
Uh-huh.
And we'd go along with our hazel hose and scrape it down, make it about just a certain angle,
Uh-huh.
so the water would run off of it.
And what's a hazel hoe?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were. Well, a regular hoe, you know, is small.
Yeah.
These were big. These had a blade about that wide,
Uh-huh.
and it was about that long. Has to go on with a handle like with the grubbing hoe, you know.
Okay.
A grubbing hoe handle, and you could take that and slope banks with it.
Wow.
Yeah, you could go up, start with it, and put it so you get a good angle, get all the rough spots out. Then the water would run off and the bank wouldn't erode that so bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then would they bring in gravel, or was it just
Yeah. Yeah.
they would.
Yeah, they'd bring it. Okay, we had a gravel truck there. Let's see, $30 a month.
Oh, for a whole month?
25 went home.
My
We
gosh.
kept 5 of it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So you had to be kind of stingy.
Yeah.
But I had a commissary in there to buy candy bars and so forth.
Yeah.
Most of them, about 2 days, are $5. Well, out of that $5, you had to pay $2.40 for laundry.
Oh my gosh.
Cleaning.
Wow.
You ended up with about $2.50 you could spend on your own.
For a whole month.
Yep.
8 1 3 5 1 51807.
No, I don't know who that is.
So who would get your $25 a month?
Well, your parents.
Your mom and dad did?
Yep, right.
Wow. Was that the first time that you were really contributing to the family income then?
Well, no. No, see, I went in there, I turned 21 after I was in there. Oh, no. When I got, where we lived in southern Oregon, down near Grants Pass, Oregon, and wintertime is wood to cut. If I was going to school on Saturdays, I'd help my dad out. He had what he called a buzzsaw, rigged up with a gasoline engine to cut up limbs and stuff with. And I'd work with him on the weekends if he had necessary. And then, of course, in the summertime, then I'd go out with him in the woods. We'd fall trees and trim them up, and they cut the logs up, or usually cut about 4 foot length and split them, and in about 8 pieces, and then you'd finish cutting them on what's called a buzzsaw. After I just fixed up on a hinge, it had like a little table on it, and the man would pick up the 4x4, whatever it was. And yeah, there was a big sawmill called at Mill City, Oregon. That was about 50 miles east of Salem. It was a big sawmill. I tell you, they had all. Dad said they had logs in there. Usually, your log is about 20. Maybe 30 feet in length. Saw. But then they had to put on what they call a pony carriage.
That's back, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Lumber was king, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
It
that was that. We lived there 2 years, 22 to 24. Yeah, it was.
Were you happy to go from logging and lumber mills to Boeing? Was that a good switch for you?
Yes, that was. I was lived in southern Oregon. All you had to do back in the 30s was work on roads.
Yeah.
Mostly. And so my 2 friends of mine, one had just got out of that. Let's see, what was it? Right at the end of World War II.
Oh, they got out of the military.
They went to work in Southern California at airplane factory.
Okay.
At Douglas, but they weren't satisfied there, so they had a friend that came up here to Boeing, and he told them about it, so they quit down there, came up here, and about 6 months later, they came down southern Oregon. I was staying with their folks, working in the woods there. Said, we're taking her back with us. so they took me back and left me there. And they weren't. They still weren't happy at Boeing.
Oh.
So they went down to Portland Air Base.
Yeah.
There about 2 weeks, and the draft board got after them.
Oh.
So they joined the service, and that was.
But you were still up at
working at World War II then.
Wow, but you stayed up in Seattle area and worked
at Boeing. I stayed here. I couldn't, you see, I was called up in July 1930, was it 32, when the war started in Europe, was when they started the draft.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm gone. But I got my physical, and the doctor said, well, you didn't pass. You got a slight heart murmur.
Wow. Was that a shock for you?
Well, it was, because it was kind of, but I figured I was going to go all right.
Yeah.
But that kept me out of the service.
Kind of a weird twist of fate.
But of course, the doctor checked me. He never gave me any information either. So I went back working in the Loganwoods at the Chokers. You know what that is, don't you?
A choker chain?
Yeah, choker chains, yeah. Yeah, they weigh about 250 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
You have to drag them and put them around the log, hook them on, then hook them up to the cat
Okay.
to drag the logs in.
Okay.
So coming to Boeing was a kind of relief from that.
I bet. Was it mostly on the job training then?
Yeah, it was on the job training. Yes, I went. First, I worked. I was installing parts, small parts on the airplane,
Okay.
and I went to the class on that to familiarize myself with the airplane and whatnot.
Okay.
And I think I did one other time too when I changed to. Later, I changed to electrical wire, installing electrical wiring and equipment.
Okay.
So I went to a training course on that too. You know, a piece of plywood is 4x8.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we'd have 6 or 7 of them laid on a table.
Yeah.
We'd have a wire bundle be that long. We'd lay it on there and wherever a breakout was, we'd put that we'd had the plywood, and on that we'd lay called a vellum.
Uh-huh.
And then we'd lay the harness, what we call the harness on there. It'd have a main line coming here, then have wiring breakouts here and there and everywhere, and terminated,
Uh-huh.
and we'd mark that and put the wiring on there. We had some bundles that took 4x8 pieces of vellum to put that on.
What's vellum?
It's a semi-transparent material that you use for drawings.
Oh.
That's what we call the template. We put all that on there. We draw that out all on there, and then they could send that to the wire shop, and they would run copies of that, put it on 4x8 piece of plywood, kind of set at an angle,
Uh-huh.
and then they'd put the wiring all along there and make all the breakouts here and there. Well, as our boss said, when we mocked up the B-52 airplane,
Yeah.
they had a wire harness. The first they had it so big it took three men to pack it. They finally broke it up somehow, made it a little smaller runs.
Oh my gosh. That tells you how huge those planes
Yeah.
were.
Of course, that was a big airplane. That's the biggest one we ever had.
Yeah.
We had a wooden mock-up of the body, and a left-hand wing
Mm-hmm.
to work with, to run wiring into. Even after the war, we were finishing up some, especially the B-29s we built at Renton.
Uh-huh.
We were finished. We had about 30 of them, I think, to finish up. Got them, and then we started in on the commercial.
Okay.
Let's see. The first we built 3 small commercial planes for the government.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were that's what we call them now, but they were 4-engine planes.
Yeah.
We were very. It crashed into the Fry packing plant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was. They were coming in and something went wrong,
Uh-huh.
and all the engineers and pilots whatnot on board were killed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And,
Yeah, that was quite a setback for us. Yeah, they didn't put out too much information right at first,
yeah.
because it was detailed information was kind of kept quiet in those days, you know.
But you remember those traumatic events.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I've got somewhere here. I've got a book that they gave me after I retired. It
Mm-hmm.
carried Boeing from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
to the time that till I retired.
Wow.
I think in 1978.
Okay.
It was.
Wow. I
liked about 6 months being retirement age, 65.
Wow.
I need to go somewhere.
Oh, am I blocking you
Yeah,
in?
the red one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about
Good job.
that.
And after that, well, my son David was here. He was working down at the South Center of the. I was 72
Uh-huh.
when David asked me if I'd come down and work there.
And what'd you do there?
Yeah, well, I did see mostly distribution stuff on the inside.
Okay.
A lot of papers had to be what we call strapped with, so they'd be 30 in a paper. We'd run the machine and strap them up. The machine, you had well, what it would do, the paper's all printed and about 30 in a packet, and you'd feed that into that machine, and it'd run along and it's called collate the paper,
Okay.
but put it together. She was working on the outside the one in the cell, and I was working inside.
Okay.
I met her. But after the war ended, then some of those jobs were available. She got a job up in what they call production planning. As like working as a clerk in there, you know.
Okay.
And then it played out too, and she worked down at town at Frederick Nelson's, I think it was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know the bond. Let's see,
The Bon Marché.
Bon Marché for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she finally was started when we started to raise a family. We made a couple of 3 trips to Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went. Let's see. Well, let's see. We took. 1950, late 50s. We with the wife and her mother and she had a brother 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
We took a trip. We went down through California, through the redwoods,
Oh, my God.
the big trees.
Like Big Sur and stuff?
Yeah, there was three places there we went to.
Uh-huh.
Then we came out at Bakersfield, and we went east from there into Arizona.
Oh.
Didn't quite get to the capital, Arizona. We turned north up to the Grand Canyon.
Oh, my gosh, that was a big vacation.
Oh yes, and then crossed down at the east end of the canyon. We crossed down into a desert country. Crossed the river, whatever it was. There was a bridge there at that time.
Uh-huh.
And made our way all on up to Salt Lake City,
Oh, my.
and then to Yellowstone.
Wow, you
there.
did the whole circuit.
Yeah, we did. We camped at Yellowstone for about a week, I think it was.
Did you go to that famous lodge up there?
No, we camped out in a tent
Oh, my gosh.
at that fishing bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yes, that a lot of bears to see.
I bet.
Oh yeah. We were camped in the tent area there, and we had a table, like in Forest Service they make for campers, you know. It is about as far as 25 feet from the tent. The tent kind of opened up that way, and it was a nice warm night, and moonlight too, I think it was. Anyway, we weren't to sleep yet, and I heard the noise out there and looked out. There on the other side of the table, there was a big grizzly. One time, my wife and I and Greg, my youngest boy,
Uh-huh.
we went up. Let's see, we headed up on the big river up there. We went east of, turned east, came down to about 30 miles west of Calgary,
Okay.
and we came through the mountains down through, and came out at Jasper
Okay.
up there.
That's really God's country up there, isn't
Oh
it?
yes, it was. We had a kind of a square tent that my mother and son and her brother slept in, and we slept in a pup tent.
Okay.
And it stayed a nice moonlight night. We hadn't been in bed very long. The skunks came through.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was one. We were sleeping with her head towards the opening of the tent, you know, and there's a couple of them right outside there. They were chit chatting. I says, "What are they doing?" I says, "I guess they're trying to make up their mind whether to come in or not."
Oh my gosh.
But they didn't. They took off through. There's a lot of people camped there that night.
Did you get sprayed or?
No, it was moonlight night.
Oh, good.
A
Okay.
nice moonlight night.
Wow.
Then the next day we come back over the pass again,
Uh-huh.
and it's getting about nighttime. There was a little town there where we'd stayed before, but we were getting short of money. So okay, so I saw a nice place on the side of the road there. I said, "We'll camp here then." Well, if I had to do over again, I wouldn't, because on the way over, we'd seen a bear going up the side of the mountain here,
Yeah.
and I didn't think anything about it though, but we camped there. So one big tent, wife's mother and her brother slept in, and we slept in our pup tents. And something came through during the night. Wife's mother said, "It must have been a deer," she said, rubbed on the tent. But years later, I thought about that. No, it wouldn't be. A deer wouldn't do that. And that was a bear, but I never did tell her.
Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for Verlin, for this elder that has just so many things to share in his life history, and I just pray for your hand of blessing upon him. I thank you for ways that he just informs me about what's important in life and what's of lasting value. I pray for your continued hand of care upon Verlin. Remind him that he is always your beloved child. We pray this in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and through the ministry of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
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 When you want to go to work, you like to work. You don't just like to stand around